I'll play the melody just on one string. I can use an open D string and then this brings to mind, there's this thing with playing notes that ring together. Within that D major scale, I'll try to, still playing the melody, maybe I'll try to add some of those little notes in there and see. So instead of thinking of just full chords, or combining, like if you play a chord to state something, use the melody or the chord to sort of anchor where you are and then fill in with some of these other notes. I like to do that. Starting from the guitar, the first thing I go into is this distortion box, and then there's a little delay pedal going to another delay, sort of a sampler delay, and then a reverb unit, and from the reverb I split to 2 amps, so it's sort of a stereo reverb thing. And this is pretty much my usual setup now. For a long time I used to use a volume pedal. For 20 years or so I used a volume pedal with a compressor, and after a while it took me that long to figure out that they were canceling each other out. The compressor would make the volume sort of smaller, and then I would use the volume pedal to bring it up and down. So if I take them both away, I can pretty much do it, control the dynamics with just the strength that I play with my right hand. So the distortion thing is nothing new for anyone. I think it's just that occasionally. Then this delay, I have it set, I usually just leave it set the same. You can hear this gradual decay and these repeats, but I use it more to try to get more sustain from things that like if the attack isn't so strong, you don't hear that repeating effect, and it's almost like having putting the sustain pedal down on a piano. It's just a little subtle. It's not, here's without. Maybe it sounds exactly the same. Maybe I don't need this one either. I don't know. It's just a little bit more something in there. This has less to do with the sound. I almost think of this as another little musical instrument that I use to react with. It's like a little recorder that I can play things into and it'll play back to me, and sometimes I respond to it, and it's an 8-second delay, which means I can, in the space of 8 seconds, I can play a phrase and then see, no hands. And then I can control the speed of I can play something, and then before it comes back, sometimes I'll try to manipulate the speed so that it'll come back in sort of an altered way. But this is fun. It's, I don't know, a little toy. It's fun to just mess with it, and sometimes it's like playing with some. Sometimes I also use this to set up kind of maybe a drone or something, like something, just some kind of vague harmonic bottom. And then I can hold it in there. Also enter little bits of things into it by turning it on and off. It'll just pick up little just turning it on and off. It's kind of cool what happens sometimes. that's fun. Then from here, I'm going to this reverb unit, which sometimes I can use that also for kind of more sustain, if depending on, I can control the length of the reverb. So it's like this is a way of sort of artificially setting up, like certain rooms that you play in have their, I mean, every room has its own reverb. This is a way of either going against what's in a room, or it can be an effect. You could say it's an effect, but also it can help you to make a room feel, if you're in a real small, very dry room, you can use this to give the impression that you're in a big, spacious place. Human-made effects. Like sometimes people notice that I'm moving the neck a little bit, changing the pitch. That's another one of these unconscious things that I do. And I think where it comes from is, especially when I play a full chord, there's always some note in there that sounds a little bit out of tune for me. And it's like I'm trying to compensate, like I play this C chord and this G string sounds a little off, so I sort of bend the neck to try to fix that note, and then all the other notes go out, so I bend it back, and I end up sort of just, so I'm not intentionally trying to make a vibrato effect, or it's more trying to get the chord to be in tune. Because it's never in tune. Nothing. It's just hard to get the guitar in tune. So I think that's where that came from. You don't have to just play the notes or the. I mean, it's like just try anything with it. Different harmonics will come out by hitting it in different ways, or I still got this delay on, but just scraping it. You hit it in a different place, and I haven't figured that out in a systematic way, but there's no reason to not use the whole guitar